नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। श्रीमद्भागवतम कैंटो 7 chapter 9 verse। त्वं हि नित्यविजितात्मगुणस्वधाम्ना कालो वशी कृतविसृज्य विसर्गशक्तिः चक्रे विसृष्टम् अजयेश्वर षोडशारे निष्पीड्यमानम् उपकर्ष विभो प्रपन्नम्। Anyway, I think we had read this. Dear Lord, O Supreme Great, you created this material world of 16 elements, but you're central to their material qualities. In other words, these material qualities are under your full control and you're never controlling them. Therefore, the time element is your representation. O Lord, O Supreme, no one can conquer you. As for me, however, I am being crushed by the wheel of time, and therefore I surrender fully unto you. Now kindly take me under the protection of your lotus feet. The wheel of material misery is also a creation of the Lord, but he is not under the control of the material energy. That he is the controller, whereas the living entities are under his control. When we give up our constitutional position, the Supreme Lord creates this material under influence over the soul. Therefore, he is the supreme and only he can deliver the condition of onslaught, real nature. Maya, the external energy, continuously imposes upon the conditions of the suffering of threefold entities of this material world. Therefore, in the previous words, Prahlada prayed to the Lord, but for your lordship, no one can save me. Prahlada has also explained that a child's parents cannot save the child from the onslaught of birth and death, nor can medicine and a physician save one from death. Nor can a boat or similar means of protection save a person drowning in water, for everything is controlled by the Supreme Lord. Therefore, suffering humanity must surrender to Krishna. All of human society must take advantage of this offer and thus be saved by Krishna from the danger of being crushed by the wheel of time. Every living being in the material condition is actually being crushed again and again. To be saved from this position, one must take shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So many times Prabhupada has used this word crush, crush, crush. Mm. So the emphasis is that it has to enter our minds that we are being crushed. Mm. Mm. Saved from this position, one must take shelter of the Supreme Lord, then one will be happy. So the only way we can be happy is to take shelter of the Supreme Lord. The word prapannam, prapatti, prapannam is also very significant for unless one surrenders, fully surrenders to the Supreme Lord, one cannot be again. Criminal is put in prison and punished by the government, but the same government, if it likes, can release the criminal from imprisoned life. Similarly, we must know conclusively that our material condition of suffering has been allotted to us by the Lord. This is very important. Where we are suffering, we think that Lord is imposing it on us. No, this is whatever has been allotted to us based on our own karma. Keep forgetting. This is basic, but when we are suffering, we forget this. And we want to be saved from this suffering, we must appeal to the same controller. And thus one can. And one must appeal means what? We can only request. Please help me. Please pardon me. But it's our own karma phala. And in this verse, this time element uh, is your representation. Right? So everything ends because of Kala in the material world. When the time comes, creation happens. When the time comes, destruction happens. Time comes, suffering comes. Time comes, happiness comes. The time comes, suffering goes. When the time comes, happiness goes. The time comes, this body comes into existence. And time comes, body. So everything is being controlled by time. And this time doesn't have its destructive influence in Goloka. Doesn't mean that um, different times of the day is not there. In times of the day is there. Time does not have its influence. So that is that's inconceivable. So the sun, moon, and all planets, so-called planets, are all sun and moon are definitely there in Goloka. But that is not material sun and moon. That's Yoga Maya's creation for as pastime. So there is something like sunrise, there's something like sunset, night, day, etc., etc. But there's no destructive element of time. And also, this time is so weird in Goloka that every time a seva is happening, uh, everybody thinks that this is happening for the first time. Then it's so fresh. The devotees can't even remember that it had happened yesterday. And it's been happening eternally. Mm, it's been happening eternally. Mm. The same cycle of Krishna. And though it's the same devotees, it's not that they've changed their body, but the same devotees, they can't remember. Even if the same thing happened yesterday, they can't remember. Can't remember because they're so much absorbed in serving Krishna that they can't register that it had happened yesterday. And even if it has, it doesn't. They're happy again and again and again and again and again. Pleasure of Krishna. But in the material world, unfortunately, we are under this destructive aspect of time. And only one who surrenders to Krishna gets over this. Aham tvam sarvapapebhyo mokshayishyami. And in fact, there is no death also for a pure devotee. So we can win over time only with the mercy of Krishna. We have to surrender. Again, surrender means giving up our false independence. False in the sense that it's only this causing by a bondage for us. Right? We are only misusing that independence. So we better surrender our independence to Krishna through the medium of Guru and thereby surrender, and then Krishna will take care of us. And so that's the only way. So we should not hesitate to surrender. Many times devotees think that, I'm just chanting Hare Krishna, I'm engaging in all the activities of this, but they don't think about surrender. Somehow, again, the devotees want to remain independent. So that's not going to help. That's not going to help. Our diseased condition is this independence. Think about, not think about, decide to give it up at the time of initiation. And only then this Nichpidaya, Pidyamanam can come out of this crushing business. We do surrender. दृष्टा मयाति विभोऽखिलकृष्णपानाम् आयुष्यो विभव इच्छति जनोऽयं येऽस्मत्पितुः कुपितहासविजृम्भितभ्रू विस्फुरिजितेन लुलिताः स तु ते निरस्तः. My dear Lord, people in general want to be elevated to the higher planetary system, long duration of life, opulence, and enjoyment. But I've seen all of these through the activities of my father. When my father was angry and he laughed sarcastically at them, they were immediately vanquished simply by seeing the movements of his eyebrows. Imagine what power he was wielding. Yet my father, who was so powerful, has now been vanquished by you within a moment. That's all. Mm. So, in these higher planetary systems, mm, So there are three Swargas. There is one which is Bhauma Swarga. There is Swarga on Bhumandala. And there is Swarga, Urdhva Swarga, is Swarga in the higher planetary system. And there is Swarga in the lower planetary system, or lower planetary systems are also called Swarga. Bila Swarga. Bila means hole, like a rat or a snake lives in a hole. All these lower planetary systems are inside the Earth's crust. So they are in like a hole inside the Earth. They are also considered as Swarga, mm, because of the long duration of life, opulence, enjoyment, etc. Now, where is this Bhoma Swarga? Mm. So we have in Jambudvipa, so we have many Varshas. So Bharatvarsha is the Karma Bhumi. Apart from Bharatvarsha, all other Varshas are. And when a person goes to Urdhva Swarga, after he finishes or last some little part of his enjoyment is left of his punya, then he comes down to. And so there is, there is enjoyment just very, very similar. They have lives of 10,000 years, very less compared to Urdhva Swarga, but yeah, there's a lot of opportunities to, which is why the demigods pray, saying that, we are stuck in these higher plan, all these responsibilities and all that, and we don't have time, nor do we have the environment here. Bhakti. Fortunate are those souls who are born in Bharatavarsha, who are actually able to engage in loving devotional service. It was a Brahma also wanted to come here and he came as Haridas Thakur. Yeah, but all this is fleeting. So the reason I was mentioning about this is that people want better opulence, enjoyment, etc. in this material in this on this earth, but it is insignificant compared to the enjoyment one will get in Urdhva Swarga. So in one sense, intelligence is for those who want enjoyment. Better do karma kanda, right? So that one can go to the higher planets. And previously, this is what people used to do because they knew that this standard of enjoyment in this Bharatavarsha is very low, very poor standard. So they used to do karma kanda so that they can go to higher planetary systems and enjoy. The Yuga people are very foolish. Anda sumanda matayo. They think that they want to enjoy here only. This low class. This is actually at least the way the material enjoyment is, the direction it's taking is more like the enjoyment of the lower planetary systems. Actually, it is said that the happiness enjoyment in the lower planetary systems is much, much greater than the enjoyment in the higher planetary systems. Mm, because this enjoyment is in the mode of ignorance. The lower planetary enjoyment in the lower planetary systems is in the mode of ignorance. Enjoyment in the higher planetary systems is in the mode of goodness. So there is still some do's and don'ts and all that kind of framework in which there is high enjoyment. So it's high class enjoyment. But whatever is there in Biraswarga or lower planetary systems is low class enjoyment. And the enjoyment that is now we are seeing, the modes of enjoyment or the way to or people are enjoying here is representing more the low class, lower planetary system kind of enjoyment than high class. But previously, Vedic system used to give high class enjoyment. And only the Shudras used to involve in low class enjoyment. Kalau Shudra Sambhava. Unfortunately, the whole, everybody in Kali Yuga, everybody is engaged in low class enjoyment, drinking, eating meat, and, all these kinds of nonsense. All this is low class shopping and this and that. Not, it's not high class. Low class enjoyment. High class is like, music, for example, like traditional music and arts. All this high class enjoyment, sense gratification, but they want to do it in like not, yeah. So all the Western influence things are all low class, like disco and thinking and rock music, which is just like beating in somebody sitting in your head and beating. And people like this. People like this. Whatever it is, but it's all going to go, right? Even though Hiranyakashipu was so powerful, just by movements of his eyebrows, demigods immediately they were vanquished. Yet he was gone in a moment. How much time did Narasimha take till Hiranyakashipu? Less time. Within this material world, one should understand by practical experience the value of material opulence, longevity, and influence. We have actual experience that even on this planet there have been great politicians and military commanders. But as soon as their lives were finished, their popularity, influence, and everything else were finished. Prahlada finally gathered the same experience by seeing the activities of Hiranyakashipu. Therefore, he did not give any importance to anything in this material world. See, he gathered the same experience, meaning he saw this and he learned from it. And he said, this is useless. No one can maintain his body or material achievement forever. It's useless. Why waste time? That was what Prahlad Maharaj's inference was. A Vaishnava can understand that nothing within this material world, not even that which is powerful, opulent, or impure, at any time such things may be vanquished. And who can vanquish them? The Supreme Lord. Therefore, one should conclusively understand that the known is great. The Supreme Great demands surrender. Every intelligent man must agree to this proposal. Every intelligent man must agree to surrender to the Supreme Lord. Definitely, Supreme Lord only has to tell us we're in that fallen condition, and then He's telling us repeatedly, still we don't want to surrender, but an intelligent man will surrender. Again, Prabhupada is saying one must surrender from the wheel of Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadi. तस्मादमुस्तनुभृताम् अहमाशिशोग्न आयुष्यं विभवमाइन्द्रियम् आविरिञ्चात् नेच्छामि ते विलुलितान् गुरुविक्रमेण कालात्मनोपनय मां निजभृत्य पार्श्वम्. Dear Lord, now I have complete experience concerning the world, other material pleasures, tried by all living. From Lord Brahma down to the ant. Powerful time, you destroy them all. Hmm. Therefore, because of my experience, I do not wish to possess them. My dear Lord, I request you to place me in touch with your pure devote, him as a sincere servant. Hmm. So all this is going to go as powerful time. Krishna destroys everything. So Prahlad is saying, because of my experience, I do not wish to possess them. I do not wish to possess them. Not like if you want, you give. No. Prahlad is saying, I don't want to possess them. Right? I request you to place me in touch with your pure devotee and let me serve him as a sincere servant. By Bhagavatam, every intelligent man can get experience like that of Prahlad Maharaj, critical incident mentioned in this great literature of spiritual knowledge. Every intelligent man should get this experience. That is the reason we are reading Srimad Bhagavatam. We are not reading Srimad Bhagavatam for some entertainment. So, which is why hearing, of course, Srimad Bhagavatam is so powerful that even if you don't delve into the tattva also, because we are constantly associated with the Supreme Lord, we get purified. But the real study of Srimad Bhagavatam is to learn from these historical incidents and learn lessons and apply them in our life. Statements like, by following in the footsteps of Prahlad Maharaj. Following in the footsteps means we have to take instruction. One should gain through experience that all material opulence is perishable at every moment. Even this body for which we try to acquire so many sensual pleasures may perish at any time, isn't it? And we try to acquire so many sensual things. The soul, however, is eternal. Soul is never vanquished. Body is just. An intelligent man, therefore, should care for the happiness of the soul, not care for the body. Mm, we should care less for the body. Care less, meaning don't care more than required. But we should care for the happiness of the. Even if one receives a body with a long duration of life, like those of Lord Brahma and other great demigods, it will also be destroyed. And there an intelligent man concerned with the imperishable. But again, these things are okay when we are hearing in class. In a, this is called controlled environment. Class is a controlled environment where expectation is for us to be in a spiritual frame of mind. But when we go into our day-to-day normal life and situations, etc., we again tend to forget that I have to care for the. And somehow because of bad habit from previous life, we tend to naturally, we are attracted towards things connected to this body. To save oneself, one must take shelter of a pure devotee. Gautama Dasa Thakur says, Chariya Vaishnava Sevak Nistara Bhaja. One wants to save himself from the material onslaught that arises because of the material body. Hmm. Although struggle, suffering is because of material body, still we are so foolish that we want to give material body more comfort and end up doing not so good things. If we want to save oneself, we must become Krishna conscious and try to fully understand Krishna. Oh my God. The statement. Fully understand Krishna. Uh, Practically not possible to fully understand. Fully understand means that one must come to the stage of perfection. Because then Dadami Buddhi Yogam Tam, then Krishna reveals himself. Then we can understand him, not by our efforts. Karma Chame Divyam. One should understand Krishna in truth. And this one can do only by serving a pure devotee. Very, very important. So don't delay this surrender process. Of course, we have to be prepared to surrender, but don't wait for to be prepared. It might take us multiple lifetimes. As in, don't give yourself comfortable time to get prepared. Have a sense of urgency towards this most important step in our spiritual life. Ado Shraddha Tata Tatanga, or Guru Ashraya. So one has to take shelter of a bona fide spiritual master. But whichever spiritual master one approaches, one must be ready to surrender. This is the most important thing. Sometimes I hear devotees saying that no, 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 not the spiritual master, but that spiritual master, because that spiritual master is not strict. But the point is that the whole process of this initiation itself is to surrender. I mean, we are just giving excuses to our own lack of willingness to surrender by saying, I will go here, I will go there. Who said that by going somewhere else you should not surrender? So we've just made some assumption saying that, oh, okay, okay, this guru is, doesn't require us to fully surrender. That guru requires us to surrender. Still, I was very, really hurt. The other day I was hearing somebody who got initiated few years back, and that devotee is drinking, is doing all kinds of nonsense, eating outside. Like, I mean, it's as good as the devotee is not initiated at all. And I was thinking, I was like, everything that you're doing is affecting your guru. Don't you realize? Because these are sins. You do aparada nonsense, okay, and experience it. It's your headache. But don't commit sin. And I mean, I didn't see that that devotee was even like remorseful about it. Didn't even feel bad. Why? Because no Shravanam. And I was feeling like, boss, who recommends such devotees? Why would somebody recommend such a devotee for initiation? And said so many devotees, not like one devotee. So many devotees who don't want to follow. And it pains. Mm. This is why, we have to take our time, prepare ourselves, but not forever. If we keep waiting also, then the surrender will never happen. We have to prepare ourselves to surrender, not to take initiation. This is another big mindset change we have to bring about it. We don't want people to be prepared to take initiation. We want people to become prepared to surrender to Guru. So surrender means taking initiation. And without serving, what is serving a pure devotee? This is again grossly misunderstood. What is serving a pure devotee? What is serving Bhagavatam? Means following instructions. Serving means following. There's nothing else, isn't it? If somebody says, come here, then we are serving them by following their instruction, by going where they are asking us to go. So serving a pure devotee means following their instructions. And if we don't even have a mood to take instruction, and we want to remain in our, illusion of material enjoyment, why then such a person should not take initiation? They should first prepare to surrender, which is why I keep saying that first learn to surrender to authorities, local authorities, right? Because only if we learn to surrender to local authorities then will get the confidence to recommend a surrender to the Guru, whoever, any Guru. Because we have to see that signs of surrender, that, that, okay, this person is willing to give up his false ego and willing to take up instruction. And willing to take up instructions doesn't mean that we put our intelligence to sleep. No, instructions have to be taken. How to execute it requires intelligence. Given instructions can also be pariprashnena sevaya. It can be, very humbly, it can be discussed that why this. Sometimes we might do some things which might not be 100% understandable for. It's okay. Devotees can have all the right to question and understand. Not in a demanding, challenging, it's not in a challenging spirit, but in a mood to understand. And then once we are clear that, okay, it's in line with Guru's, Prabhupada's instructions, then we should use our intelligence to put it into effect. So this is very, very important. Mm. But without surrender, there is no service. No service happens to a pure devotee without surrender. Learn this. Very, very important. Thus, Prahlad Maharaj prays that Lord Narasimha place him in touch with a pure devotee and servant instead of awarding him material opulence. See, this also should be our desire. Saying, I don't want anything. Krishna, if you are giving me something, give me shelter of the lotus feet. That's all. And those who have already taken shelter of the lotus feet of a pure devotee, please respect that surrender. Please treat it with reverence. Give it importance. Every intelligent man within this material world must follow Prahlad Maharaj. Father did not want to enjoy the estate left by his father. Rather, he wanted to become a servant of the servant. Use the human civilization that perpetually endeavors. Foolish human civilization that perpetually endeavors for happiness through material advancement. Material advancement. It's not even remaining in your same status quo. No. New things, new ways. That's what this human civilization is. That is rejected by Prahlada and those who strictly follow. So our acharyas, they completely reject this. Of course, we are on the path of Yukta Vairagya, so it's not that we give up everything and come to the road, come to the street. But we don't use anything for our sense gratification. We use everything in Krishna's service. This is the mood of our acharyas. It's very strange to understand sometimes, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur used to travel in expensive cars, wear clothes like teachers used to wear, just to preach everything. So that, bhakti can also be done in this stuff also, not only for poverty-stricken people. So he used to go, I mean, like long coats and, big car. Yukta Vairagya. Prabhupada, some once sometime some press reporter asked, he was in a which one? I don't know. Jaguar, some expensive car, in the US. And somebody asking that, looks like you're traveling in very expensive cars. Papa, matter of fact, he said, yeah, Guru has to be offered everything. What? This is just a tin car. Even if the car can be made of gold, it's okay. Like that. So everything has to be offered in the service of Guru. It has to be opulent because they are representatives. Guru is a representative of Krishna. So we should offer whatever best possible in our hands. But Guru or Vaishnavas, they are not attached to this. They are not attached to car or place of living or anything like that. Because they are completely 100% of their mind is just absorbed in devotion. And we should also aspire, hanker for that position, state where, nothing, we're not affected by what's going on around us. It's just going on. Like Prahlad's eating, sleeping, everything was just going on. He didn't even know. He didn't even pay attention to it. There are different types of material opulence, known technically as Bhukti, Mukti, Siddhi. Bhukti refers to materially good position, demigods in higher planets where one can enjoy material sense gratification. The greatest text, Mukti, disgusted with material advancement and desiring one to become one with Supreme. Siddhi, getting all the 8 kind of Himala, Mahima, Prapti, etc. All who desire some material advancement through Bhukti, Mukti, Siddhi are punishable in due course of time and they return to material activities. Even Mukti, even those who aspire Mukti, they will come back. Because Anadrita, Yushmat Dangarayaha. They will not have any respect to the lotus feet. They will come back. Yene Aravindak Maninas, Vimukta Maninas. They are just thinking they are liberated. But Avishuddha Buddhaya, they have impure intelligence. So they'll come back. Siddhi, to anyway, we know. Those who achieve Siddhi will use it for their own ulterior motive, right? Name, fame, etc. Prahlada rejected them all. He simply wanted to engage as an apprentice. Prabhupada sometimes use some very, very, archaic words, old words, which are not in usage at all in that sense, commonly used. Apprentice under the guidance of a pure devotee, which means that we should be ready to be trained. Apprentice means trained. We should be ready to get trained. Not that we became initiated, so I am done now with all learning and I'm now going to preach to others. I'm going to bring others to Krishna consciousness. Now, first we have to get trained ourselves. One of the most important qualities for a devotee, just yesterday I had a small but significant incident with a devotee misrepresenting my words. So it's very important that devotees remain sincere. We have to remain sincere. And unfortunately, the more and more I deal with these things with other devotees, trying to manufacture some facts, not representing reality. political, right, diplomacy, saying one thing one way, something else another place. This is all very painful. Then I was feeling like, oh my God, this looks like material world, within devotee community. So we don't have to, we should understand that the Krishna is seeing everything that we are doing. What do we think we are going to achieve by telling lies, by, fabricating some things and not being truthful and doing, these kinds of useless things in the name of service? Now, it hurts even more. So it's not required. I mean, we have to be straightforward and sincere. See this here also. This sincere servant. First of all, we should have sincerity, right? And if that sincerity is not there, then we cannot make progress, because we're going to just keep like this maneuvering things around us the way we want, and slip out of situations, slip in into situations however we want. This is not Vaishnava behavior. So unless we are sincere, we can't. That is why, sometimes devotees are exteriorly, meaning from outside, they're like falling at your feet and saying things and, this, that. But internally, they have some other motive. Or somebody will smile at you, glorify you in other people, but they don't really have an intention to. All this is diplomacy, right? Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur in Vaishnava K says that this is Shukarera Bhishta. Shukarera Bhishta means the stool of a pig. Kutinati or Kutinati, diplomacy. So we should be straightforward. I mean, what is our problem? What is our problem in being truthful, in being straightforward, in being submissive? What is our problem? Our problem is because we are still trying to get enjoyment, material enjoyment, even in the society. This causes all this. If our intention is to serve Guru and Krishna, then since we'll be sincere, serious, and intense in our devotion. That's it. Hmm. So anyway, this incident happened yesterday. So I wanted to say, be sincere. It's okay. We're not going to lose anything by being sincere. In fact, the more sincere we are, Krishna is going to give us more opportunities to serve him. And we're not going to lose any opportunity to serve Krishna. Okay, so I'll stop. Please, or any comment. Anything? Anybody? Oh, Jai Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada. Okay, Panchakal. Hanuman and the body.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.